Welcome to Bike Life, a podcast from the Warmshowers Foundation. Here, we celebrate our global community of touring cyclists and hosts who make life on the road unforgettable. Through stories, insights, and shared experiences, we explore the connections that fuel every journey. Whether you're pedaling across countries or welcoming travelers into your home, you're part of a movement rooted in generosity and adventure. Discover more and join the community at Warmshowers.org. Now, let's hit the road together. Hey everyone, this is Jerry Kopak, the host of Bike Life, coming to you from the Rocky Mountains at Breckenridge, Colorado. Today I'm talking to Isaak Vanthomme, and since 2019, he's been cycling the world on a shoestring budget with over 60,000 kilometers and counting, choosing remote roads and a minimalist lifestyle rooted in climate awareness. His journey is not just about distance, but about connection and what it means to truly live simply. All things that are right up my idea and alley. Hey, Isaak, welcome to Bike Life.
Hello. Thanks
So,
for having me.
yeah, I as I mentioned, I love this approach to a minimalist lifestyle, to living simply. Now, you've been on the road for 5 years now, right? So where am I finding you today?
I'm in Belgium, actually. I just finished cycling South America a month ago. So now it's time to make some money and reconnect with friends and get ready for another adventure.
Got it. Got
Yeah.
it. So when you started off back in 2019,
Yes.
what
Yeah.
what motivated you? You left from Belgium and just took off?
Well, I actually traveled before that. I traveled to Australia on a working holiday visa, and I was going to do the same thing in Canada with a friend. But that friend met a girl, and in the end, he didn't go to Canada anymore. And I still wanted to see the country, so I said, "Okay, I will just do it by bike," and then traversed the whole country in 6 or 7 months. And I never really worked with this working holiday visa in the end.
God. Have you always
Yeah.
been a cyclist? Is this something new to you?
No, yeah, I've never had a driver's license, so I've always been a cyclist, which in Belgium is quite common. To everybody's cycling here.
Yeah. Is it common to not have a driver's license? Because in the United States, very uncommon. I have one friend who doesn't have a license. He's bike everywhere, but in Belgium, maybe it's not so uncommon.
It's slightly less uncommon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got it. So when you started, you said you wanted to go through Australia or Canada. How do those trips go?
Well, the first trip, in the end, in retrospect, I was very unprepared. I was expecting some summer times, basically, and I was looking outside of the plane, and I thought, oh, this must be Newfoundland. But we were actually already starting to land, and there was snow everywhere, and at the Niagara Falls, there was ice everywhere, and I was camping in a hammock. I just had normal civilian clothes, didn't really have like very warm stuff. So it was tough the first weeks.
So this was back in 2019, right? What month
Yeah.
was this?
It was May, but
Okay.
everybody told me, oh, spring is very late this year. You should have been on the West Coast because now it's like Indian spring or something like this. And then when I arrived at the West Coast, the winter was 2 months earlier than it would normally be. So I feel like in this whole 7 months in Canada, I had like 1 month of summer. That's it.
So you had 7 months in Canada. Did you traverse the whole country east to west?
I cycled from Toronto through the States to Nova Scotia. And then from Nova Scotia, I cycled to Vancouver.
Got it. It's a big trip.
Yeah, but I have to say, I hitchhiked 2,000 kilometers in the middle.
What?
But also cycled an extra loop of 2,000 kilometers to compensate for this.
What motivated you, or what reasons you have to hitchhike for 2,000 kilometers?
Because it was getting too cold in the West. And also because it's just basically cornfields for 2,000 kilometers. And I was cycling against the prevailing winds as well. So I thought, okay. And also the road is very traffic-wise, very unsafe.
So how much planning did you put into this trip? Since seems like you maybe were early on the season and cycling into a
um,
headwind.
that one, not enough planning. Now I tend to overplan things a little bit, but I just was not that lucky with the weather. That's
Got it.
yeah.
So did this trip kind of set you off onto a different lifestyle of wanting to see the world in a different way?
Yes and no. After I worked my working holiday year in Australia, I already traveled in Southeast Asia with a motorbike.
Mm.
And somebody had told me, "Oh, you can just camp everywhere." I did the same, so I just bought a motorbike and camped everywhere. And then afterwards, this friend told me, "Oh, actually, I only camped 3 times."
Oh,
So I was
geez.
camping everywhere, and apparently, it's not always that safe. But then I basically got the hang of it and started doing the same thing, but with a bicycle. Yeah.
Yeah. And how was that different of an experience?
What I really like about the bicycle is you can float through the lives of people somehow. Like you go through a town, everybody's working, nobody can hear you coming, you're not interrupting anyone, so life just goes on and you can observe everything in a really pure way. You're not making noise, so people can also talk to you or shout at you. So
I
it's yeah.
I love that. Float through the lives of people.
Yes.
No, that's beautiful, and I completely agree.
And
Yes.
in my mind, I see like people working the rice fields with the water. So the floating comes from this image.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a much smaller impact, maybe, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because I often talk a lot about what I call this the concept of a human experience. And so when we travel, the landscapes, the food, the culture, sure, they're always amazing, but it's traveling by bike slowly that allows us these connections with people that maybe we wouldn't get if we were on a bus or a train or a motorbike.
Exactly.
So, do
Yes.
you have any stories about some of the people that you've met that maybe impacted you?
Um, yes. One particular girl that I cycled with her in El Salvador,
El Salvador.
um, and 3 months in Colombia. And what I liked about her is that she really didn't care about any rules. And I was kind of a person that doesn't care about rules that much, but she made it a lot worse. And she also taught me to ask for help and talk to the people. Um, in Europe, sometimes people are not that helpful, but most parts of the world, if you ask help, people will help you. And
Yeah.
sometimes you feel like, oh no, I'm giving up, but you're not giving up. You're just asking someone for help. You're not it's you're not doing something wrong by asking people for help.
Yeah. Why do you think people are hesitant or afraid to ask for help sometimes?
I think it's because it feels like, oh, I cannot do it alone, so it's failure.
Yeah.
And it's actually more enriching to ask people for help because maybe they have another solution or another way of looking at the problem.
Yeah.
And even if they cannot help you, then in the end you have a good conversation and maybe a place to sleep. So
Yeah. And look at those connections that you made that you would have otherwise not had that experience with, right?
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah.
So I read somewhere that you cycled over 60,000 kilometers, right? And
Yes, yeah,
on a minimalist lifestyle, trying to exist on €6 or €7 a day. Have
yeah.
you always embraced this simple minimalist lifestyle?
Yes, actually, I think it started when my first house that I rented had no heating whatsoever, and in Belgium, I just have a wood stove basically, and then also the whole thing to make hot water broke down 4 months in winter,
Oh,
so I had to shower with a bucket, and basically I'm doing the same thing now, making
really?
a campfire and bucket showers.
Wait, currently where you are right now?
No, no, no. Now
Oh,
I'm
okay.
staying at a friend's house. Now I'm
Okay.
bathing in luxury.
Okay. Got it. So do you have any tips or advice on how to get by in such a minimalist way when you travel?
Yeah, go to the local marketplace.
Okay.
Oh, they and try to eat as much of the local food because usually that's the most sustainable way to live. It's also most of the times the cheapest way. And take very good care of your bike. That's
Ah,
also a big one. Yeah. Keep it
okay.
clean. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know about you, when I've traveled to different places, whether it's Asia or Africa, a lot of times I'll see places that advertise hamburgers or pizzas or things like that, which may
No.
sound
Yeah.
good, but it definitely is not part of the local cuisine, right?
But once in a while, you can make an exception, of course.
Right. So I know you're passionate about climate change and awareness. Talk to me about what that means to you in your travel.
That means that I'm always trying to ask people how the life was, how nature was when they were children, basically. And for me, it was very shocking. Like, I always meet older people in the Andes and they tell me about, oh, there used to be glaciers and there used to
Mm,
be crystal clear water coming down these dry riverbeds. And then I met some younger person that told me the same thing. She said, when I was like 10 years old, there were glaciers everywhere, and she was 27. So to me, that was really shocking that it's just disappearing so fast. All the glaciers, nature is changing so fast. Nobody has ever told me that it rains more than back in the days. It's always drier, it's warmer, and
yeah,
that's really shocking. It's all over the world. It's really
yeah.
crazy.
So are there any things that you're doing along the way to try to promote or create awareness for this?
Uh, yes, I always carry. I always try to use my plastic bags as many times as possible. Um, I did a presentation a few weeks ago, and I showed people the plastic bags I had, and I still had one plastic bag from Mexico, so that one must have been 2 years old. And when I go to a store, I always have like a little bag with some other plastic bags inside because I want to avoid people handing me things in new plastic bags. Because when you say I don't need a bag, they're gonna put the tomato in a bag. They're gonna put every single article in a bag, and then they're not gonna give you the final big bag. At least in Bolivia, Peru, it was like this. So I would go in and tell them, okay, I have my own plastic bags. Don't use any plastic because then it ends up in the trees, and they don't realize that if you're not using the plastic, it will also not end up in the environment.
Yeah.
They don't want plastic in the environment, but it's prevention is the best way to have a cleaner environment, basically.
Yeah, and I found that too when I've traveled in South America or Southeast Asia. It's just common wherever you go to give you a bag or two bags or three
Yes.
bags. And when you say don't want a bag, they somehow think like, well, why don't you want a bag?
Yes. Yeah. I always have to explain that I carry everything on the bike and I have bike bags and I also think for a lot of people you are already like an exotic phenomenon cycling in these remote places. So when you tell them about not using plastic bags, I feel like they really think about it. And I would often tell them like in Europe, you don't always get a bag anymore because it's better for the environment. And I hope in this way that it will make them consider the use of a plastic bag a bit more.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Now, I know that you mentioned you traveled with a friend through El Salvador. Have you met
Yeah.
any other friends along the way that you traveled with? And
Um,
how does that experience change you? Like, do you prefer to ride solo or ride with other friends?
the first Canada and North America, I rode almost everything solo. And I was also, well, I didn't really meet anyone. Um, and then Central America, I was becoming more social on the bike. And then South America was full on cycling with people. It's everybody's doing the same routes. Everybody's in the same South America WhatsApp group. So it's very easy to meet people and you meet people that would in normal life you would probably never be friends with them because the only thing that you have in common is the road and the bike and but it's such a strong connection that you get like it's so easy to get along with other people that are very different sometimes and it's very enriching to learn about their lives and how they're handling life in general. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you make a good point that a lot of people do that South American route, right? From
Yes. Yeah.
Colombia down to was it Tierra del Fuego down
Yes.
in
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Argentina. So very, very common route. So did you did you enjoy cycling with people? Did you prefer, or are you more of a solo kind of guy?
I prefer cycling. Well, a mix of the two.
Okay.
But for this trip, I think I cycled with the same people, for one person for 3 months, and then another guy for 4 months. So
Wow.
it's not like meeting someone, cycling a few days. It's really, yeah, you really get to, like, at some point you also get annoyed by really small things of the other person, but in a way it's also uh, like a good experience to have more patience with people sometimes.
Sure.
And yeah, it's really not easy. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, right, if you feel like, hey, this just isn't working, like we want to go different places, maybe we cycle at different speeds, or I want to cycle longer, or you want to cycle shorter, or whatever. You don't laugh at my jokes. We just go a different way, right? Like I go this way, you go that way, and no problem, right?
That happens as well, but I cycled with a German guy, and he really, when he cycles alone, he told me, when I'm alone for one day, I get so homesick that I just want to stop.
Oh.
And I met him the second day of his trip, so I felt kind of responsible for him, and now I feel like I know him so well. This is a friendship that will last for the rest of our lives, and that's really nice. It's
really.
Yes. It's hard to meet to have this deep connection in daily life with people, and on the bike you can have this.
Well, yeah, because you're cycling together for 5, 6, 7, or 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you're camping or sharing a hotel room with somebody. And yeah, you get to really know somebody really well, right?
Yeah. And we for 2 weeks, we even adopted a dog together. So we were like two parents.
Was just a stray dog along the road?
I went to a bush to pee, and I heard some dog-like noises coming out of this bush, like puppy kind of noises.
Yeah.
So I tried to lure out the dog with some food, and in the end, I just like put the spiky brush away and took the dog, and it had a broken leg. So he thought, okay, this it was a very busy road as well. So I thought the only chance for this dog to survive is if we take it with us. And then the same evening, we had a Warm Showers host, and she happened to be a vet.
What?
So she she gave the dog the syringes and some vaccinations, and then we just took off. We made a box. We wrote free dog on it, and we went to look for a new family for this dog, which is very hard in Peru because there's dogs everywhere.
Sure.
And after 2 weeks, just before we started the Peru Divide, we found an owner for the dog. And up until 3 months ago, the dog was still alive with the owner, because we saw a picture.
That's incredible.
And it became huge. It was like a little cow.
And a broken leg was all better?
The broken leg was already better after 2 days. So we called her Shakira, but it's not the right name because her hips did lie.
Nice reference. I was wondering where that was going. That's perfect. All right. So you mentioned the Peru Divide, right? So it seems like you are maybe drawn to remote, difficult roads.
Yeah.
What's the attraction for you?
The remoteness, the lives of people that are untouched by Western civilization or by smartphones, and it's basically a window into the past for me. And it's a mix of this and just if you're going through a really nice landscape, a really impressive mountain range, it just feels different when you're doing it alone or on a really desolate road. If you're it's even more impressive, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And you're talking about going into these really remote places, which means you have to have a pretty stable bicycle. So I know you're kind of a gear nerd. So let's talk some tech, right? What kind of bike do you have?
I'm using a very normal Cube mountain bike with front suspension.
Yeah.
absolutely not adapted for bikepacking. But I just mount everything with these cleats that you use for like gas fittings.
Uh-huh.
The ones you screw and they tighten.
Yeah, we
So
we
that's
call them hose clamps in the US.
yes, yeah.
Yep.
So I basically attach bottle holders and everything with those clamps. And I did change the wheels. I have to change the back wheel every trip. My bike is not that heavy. I now had Mavic E Max wheels, which is for downhill mountain bikes, and still I managed to break it. So
How that you
I
don't
don't know.
strike me as a large man, and those wheels are really burly.
Yes, I do carry a lot of food. Like I need my vegetables every evening. So when
Like
you're doing
100 kilos of food. I mean, how much is a lot?
remotes, 15, 20 maybe sometimes with
Okay,
water.
still not enough to
Um,
break wheels.
no, it's rated for 180 kilos, and
Yeah.
my weight is 65, and the bike with maximum food would be 65 as well. So I don't know. I'm sending it into back to the store for warranty, so I'll see what they say.
So maybe just like going fast downhill on rough roads, right?
They're supposed to be for jumps of 1.5 meters, so I'm not doing those kind of things.
Okay, well, that's a good start.
Yeah.
Okay, so does your bike have a name?
Yeah, I call it it's babytje. It means like little baby in Dutch.
Okay,
Um, it's like something we say to our if you have a girlfriend or something, you could call her babytje. And
okay,
the bike is kind of my girlfriend.
because it has such a deep personal connection to you. I understand that.
Yes.
Yeah, my bike is the same way. I totally
Yeah.
can relate.
Yeah.
So when you started out bike touring, what did you realize that maybe you needed, or conversely, what did you realize that you didn't need and actually get rid of?
Um, every new trip, I carry less clothes,
Hmm.
um, but I do take more quality clothes, like a merino wool or a down jacket. Those things might be a bit more expensive, but they are worth it. Um, what I start using less is I lost my drone and I'm not going to replace it. And I'm also not going to take a GoPro anymore because a cell phone can do kind of the same thing. They're waterproof nowadays as well. So less gadgets. I started
Okay.
off with 3 fishing rods in Canada. After catching only 3 fish that year, I also didn't carry a fishing rod anymore.
Three was different purposes, right? Because it seems like one should be
No, I
okay.
just thought more fishing rods will catch more fish. It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't. Okay.
No,
Do you have fishing experience? Like, do you know what you're doing? Because I personally don't know how to fish.
I caught some nice fish in Australia, but after, yeah, I guess I was just really lucky there.
Interesting.
Yeah, I
Uh,
would arrive at the lake and I start fishing with corn, and then somebody told me, "No, don't do it. Here we use worms." So the next lake, the next day, I look for worms. I'm fishing with a worm. Somebody comes up to me and says, "What are you doing? We don't use worms here. We use corn." So basically, I also don't know what fish I'm trying to catch. So I really don't know which fish are in that lake. So I don't know what they eat. So it's really hard to. But I
no.
just really don't know what I'm doing with the fishing, actually.
Do you know how to clean fish to eat? Because I don't know that
Yes,
either.
yeah,
Okay, you have
yeah,
that part figured out.
yeah. That's what I learned that in Australia. Yeah.
Okay, good, good. I was going to ask you, do you have any luxury items that you carry that, things maybe aren't essential, but it sounds like you carried a drone, which isn't really essential, but any other
Yes.
luxury items that maybe you just don't need, but you carry because you like it?
Mm, that's a difficult question. Maybe I would say a camera with 2 lenses, but I don't
Yeah.
think it's a luxury item because the tele lens you can also use as binoculars to
Oh,
find the campsite sometimes.
no,
So
I think that
it's
is very useful.
when something has 2 functions, you can take it on the bike.
Yeah, I love that. So navigation, do you use offline map apps on your phone?
Yes. Yeah. I the only reason I have an iPhone is because I want to use Map Out,
Hmm.
which is for me since I discovered this app, planning became so much easier. Navigating, drawing routes became so much easier. Then as a backup, I still use Maps.me or Organic Maps, it's called nowadays.
Yeah.
And then I try to have as much offline maps on Google Maps as possible. And for example, in the States, I would, every time I find a Walmart, because I travel without SIM cards, I would go on the Wi-Fi and scroll along the route with satellite images. So these satellite images would still be at the cache memory of my phone. And that would make it easier to spot green parts where I could camp, because I was traveling with a hammock, so I need trees.
That's
Not always
really
easy.
smart by using the cache memory to store footage.
Because you cannot download them, and then when you take screenshots, you cannot use the zoom function that much.
Yeah.
So that was my trick.
How'd you learn that one? That's a good one.
I don't know. Nobody taught me. I just discovered that.
I'm gonna use that one on my next show. That's a good one. Thank you.
Yeah.
How about, what's your favorite snack food? Like, what's always on your bike when you're riding?
Peanut butter. Yeah.
Same. Yeah. Yep.
A wrap with peanut butter, and then a nut mix and a banana.
Yeah.
That's the best food. Yeah.
You're speaking my language. My go-to as well.
But then you probably also know how hard it is to keep the bananas in good shape.
Impossible.
It really is.
Especially if you're on a bumpy road, right? As I remember one time I was in kind of northern India, and a woman gave me a bunch of bananas, and I kind of threw it in a bag on my bike. And after an hour on this road, it looked like baby food. Like it was just rising to mush. So tough.
But you can still eat it. I do.
You can still eat it. Speaking of remote places, have you had any parts on your bike that are difficult to find?
On the Peru Divide, I broke my rear shifter.
Okay.
But I managed to find like a very simple friction shifter, and I only had 3 gears in the back. But for the Peru Divide, it's not really necessary to have more than 3 gears, because you're only using the lowest 3 that you have. So
yeah, because it's either up or down, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Huge climbs on that route.
Yeah. And then eventually, I'm a friend of a friend of a friend came to Peru and brought me a shifter. They did sell shifters in Lima, and they can bring it to you by bus, because the bus doubles as like postal service.
Oh, wow.
But the price was 10 times more than it's when I ordered it online.
Because of the shipping?
No, it was just everything in Peru for bike parts is ridiculously expensive.
Maybe the import duties.
Yeah.
Got it.
Exactly.
Okay, so I want to shift things up a little bit here and do some kind of rapid fire questions. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. So now I realize this is a very cliche question to ask, but whatever, I'm going to ask you anyways. So I know every place is different and unique, but do you have a favorite place that you've been, or maybe a place that you might go back to?
It's a region. It's basically the Yucatan Peninsula, Belize, and the high mountains of Guatemala. In Guatemala, you have the Cuchumatanes. It's like a route that Mark Watson and Hannah made, where you go over 4,000 kilometers, 4,000 meters. 4,000
meters, yeah.
You're basically 200 kilometers away from coral reefs, Maya temples. Wow. So it basically has everything you want, so much diversity in a really small area. That's what I really liked about this part.
How much time did you spend there?
2 months, I guess. Yeah, a lot of time.
Yeah. Do you have a list of places that you still want to see?
I really want to see Africa.
Okay.
And I really want to go to the Middle East.
Yeah.
That will be the next journey will be the Middle East.
Okay.
Also because for me, South America was a bit dull on the food part of things. And I think the Middle East will be very, very good food. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've spent time in Israel a bunch, Turkey a little bit, and I can tell you the food is, if you like hummus and pita and the fresh vegetables. Amazing.
Yeah. Next trip starts in Turkey.
Yeah,
I already decided.
good man. Okay, so you've got that on the radar.
Yeah.
So was there a country that you thought like I really don't want to leave, or I could possibly settle down here?
Ooh, that's difficult. Well, if the question of settling down depends also on the price of land, for example, or to buy. And for me, Nicaragua was a very nice surprise.
Okay.
The coast of Nicaragua has really good surf, still reasonable to buy land there. But by traveling more and more, I also realized that basically I want to be where my friends are. So
Yeah.
I said goodbye to the idea of living abroad. I think it can be very lonely as well when you settle down for a long time and you miss your friends and family, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, those connections are important. Of course, our community, our network. Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Was there a place that you found particularly challenging? For any reason?
Yes. For me, Ecuador, the Trans-Ecuador mountain bike route in rainy season was very hard.
Mud, right?
Crazy mud. And then the Paramo, it's all black and it's so slippery. Man. And I don't know, you have this section where you have to cross water channels. And after that, I decided, okay, it's enough. And I cycled the Three Volcanoes route, and then I went to the Amazon. I thought, okay, at least it's also raining in the Amazon, but at least it's not cold.
Yeah. Man, you've done some cool routes. I read a lot about some of those places you're talking about.
I try to connect all the bikepacking.com routes as much as possible.
Those guys will appreciate that for sure. You mentioned food in South America was not great. What's your favorite food country that you've been to?
El Salvador for the pupusas.
Ah, good one.
Yeah, it's basically like a tortilla wrapped, folded in half, and it's filled with anything you can imagine. The standard one is cheese, beans, and meat, but they come in all kinds of varieties. And I remember eating 9 or 12 of them a day.
A day?
And a day.
Good man.
And I just don't get, well, I could, when I think about El Salvador, the first thing is like, fuck, I want a pupusa.
So here's a little insider tip. Have you been to India or Nepal yet?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
No.
So when you get to India, they have this dish. It's kind of the main dish is called veg thali, or in Nepal they call it dal bhat. And it's essentially it's rice and beans and curried vegetables and flatbread. And the amazing thing about it is it's usually around 70 cents or $1 US. And
that's right up my alley.
and it's unlimited. So if you say, hey, I want more, they'll keep bringing you more until you say finish.
Oh, yes. That's exactly
so for a hungry
what I want.
cyclist, it's amazing.
It's making me hungry now just listening to you talking about it.
So lastly, favorite landscape? Desert, mountain, coastal, what?
Oh, that's really difficult. I think the jungle. Yeah.
Jungle?
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Many cyclists go through Central America really fast because it's hot and humid, and it's really challenging, the constant humidity, but the amount of birds and animals you see is, for me, it's totally worth it. Even if you especially when you're in some kind of jungle landscape near a coast where you have coral reefs. I usually, not for South America, I usually carry diving goggles and snorkel. And I always want to see what's below the water as well. Yeah.
Amazing. Wow. Okay. So thinking about your next trip then to the Middle East, are there some countries that you kind of have on your target list?
Turkey. And then everybody's so positive about Iran.
Yeah.
So I really want to see Iran as well.
I was going to put that out there. I met some Swiss friends a while ago, And they mentioned a month they spent in Iran, and they said the kindness, the generosity of the Iranian people was unparalleled. They didn't pay for a meal or a night's stay in the entire month they were there. Incredible.
Yeah. And it's sad that we get such a bad image of the country in Western media just because of the government, basically.
Yeah.
Because the people are completely different than what we think people are like in Iran.
Isn't that just the truth, right? So people everywhere I've been, people are just people, right?
Yeah.
No matter what country I've been in.
Yeah.
Has that been 99%?
99.99% of people are all good.
Yeah. What a great way to wrap things up. So I want to thank you so much for taking some time to sit with me and tell your stories. Isaak, if there's any way for listeners to find you or to follow along in your ventures, how can they do that?
And on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, I'm called World of Jackie, and Jackie is written Jacky, and that's kind of my nickname for that my friends gave me.
Jackie. Where's that come
from? I don't want to go into that.
Okay, fair enough. Another talk for another episode.
Yes. I'm not proud of it. That's why.
Fair enough, man. Well, we will have all those links listed in our show notes. People can follow along and see what crazy stuff you're up to.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. So I want to thank everyone today for tuning in to my conversation with Isaak Vanthomme. As always, if you enjoy our show, give us a like on your social channels or just tell your friends. These stories hopefully will inspire you to set off on your own bicycle adventure and maybe make the world feel a little bit smaller, one pedal stroke at a time. My name is Jerry Kopak, and until next time, keep the wheels rolling and the stories coming. Thanks for joining us on Bike Life. I'm Jerry Kopak, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode as much as we enjoyed sharing it with you. Please leave us a rating and review, or just tell your friends. This helps us reach more cyclists and hosts around the world. To learn more or become part of this amazing community, visit us at Warmshowers.org or follow us on Instagram at Warmshowers_org. If you'd like to be a guest on the show or have a question you'd like us to explore, email us at podcast@warmshowers.org.